Amber and Artez, and I got to personally meet them when they came to my house. We got to go out, have a lot of fun. Um, she told me all about the skincare stuff. I'm still using it.
Oh, good. You
Professional
haven't ran
grade,
out yet?
huh?
I said
Hey,
you
my
haven't ran
skin is
out
looking.
yet?
Your
I
skin's
ran up,
looking
but I'll
good.
read up
Looking
and
good.
bought more. So my skin is vibrant and everything. So I thank you for that, Amber. But now tonight she was an esthetician. She's still an esthetician. And I used to see Amber and Artez on here all the time. Just like a lot of y'all would just be sitting back looking. Y'all would be either working at a school or working in the shop. And now it's her time. It's their time. I'm not going to take it up. So let's go ahead and get started, Amber and Artez. And let's go back to childhood all the way up to now. We're going to stair step this thing all the way. Let's
Oh,
go.
Lord. We were talking about your show and the questions you ask him, like he's going to ask me about my childhood. um, so I had a really good childhood. I have two sisters, and I'm the middle child. I was always the girly girl of the group. Um, my parents are kind of old hippies. They're very natural. I was raised with no artificial ingredients, no, sugary foods. I couldn't even wear makeup or buy makeup, so I'd sneak it from my friends. And finally at 16, my mom bought me my first, real makeup, but I always was into dress up and makeup, and I would try to do all my sisters and my friends' makeup. And then in high school and junior high, I wanted to do everyone's makeup for dances. And I remember magazines were the thing back then. And so I would flip straight to the makeup and skincare sections of the magazines. I didn't care about hair or fashion. I just was really into skin. And a lot of estheticians feel this way too, but a lot of us had problematic skin growing up. And so that was my issue. I always had really oily, problematic skin, and I always wanted to know what I could do for my own skin to make it better. So I think that's really what drew me to it. But I always just was really a girly girl. And so that was just always me. And all through high school, I was the one that did everyone's makeup for dances. I got a job at a retail store selling clothing and, retail, but I really wanted to be in cosmetics. And I didn't know that you could be in cosmetics if you weren't like a licensed professional. I never even applied. But I had my first child at 20, and I always wanted to do something with skin and makeup, but I didn't really think it would be a real career or very lucrative. But after I had my son, I knew I didn't want to just go back to retail. I knew I wanted to have a career and make better money for us. And so I looked into it and I thought, I'm just going to do it until I really figure out what I'm going to do with my life. Because school was always really hard for me. It just never, was my favorite. I'm more hands-on. And so I, I tried college. I went for just like a year and I actually wanted to do interior design. I thought I'd be a great interior designer because design, fashion. But there was a lot of math, a lot of architecture, things that I just was not really into and had a hard time with. So quickly I knew that wasn't for me. And so I just decided, why not? Here's my chance. I can go to beauty school. I can do it until I figure out what I want to do. And 21 years later, it's been an amazing, really lucrative career for me. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my background.
So when you went to beauty school, tell us about that.
Oh, it's kind of the general beauty school experience. Most people that go to beauty school, I would say, especially back in the day, um, it's just the phone. It's just, like you go, you get your education, you get out, and then you really figure it out. And so I went to school. I actually feel like I got a pretty good education, but I was really driven. I was self-motivated and driven to really master aesthetics. So I was always the eyebrow girl in school. And it's funny, I just hired as my first instructor here, my first instructor when I went to school 20 years ago. I'll tell you more about that. But she remembers, she was like, "Oh, you were always the eyebrow girl." I'm like, "Really? You remember that?" So I was always really into aesthetics and just took it upon myself to not be scared and master all the things. So I had a good experience, but beauty school can often be drama or has a name in itself as drama. And so I just really put my nose to the grindstone and took the most out of it. And then I did a lot of advanced education afterwards. So I started out at this little tiny salon that was a house turned into a salon, and she gave me a chance. And it was funny. So I actually was super excited. First job out of beauty school, wanted to really do facials. And I was really into acne and learning how to treat conditions that are hard to treat and really create results with my clients. And I only had a few clients like that, but she was a nail artist. And so she had like a whole salon downstairs that was nails, and then upstairs was like the aesthetic rooms. And she had me doing pedicures. And I wasn't licensed to do it. I wasn't even supposed to do it, but I was like, I'm going to do what this lady says. She gave me a chance. I'm going to be a great esthetician one day. And it kind of ruined it for me doing the pedicures because I did not want to do feet or anything to do with that. So I was only there for like 6 months, and it was kind of hard not having a lot of experience finding a good job. So I got a job at Macy's in cosmetics. I finally was like, I'm going to try to get a job in cosmetics now. I always wanted to. And so that was really fun. I got into more of the makeup side of aesthetics, and I did that for years, and it was really steady and lucrative. But on the side, I always waxed, and I always did kind of advanced trainings. I would go, I'm in Spokane, Washington, so I would go to Seattle and take little courses here and there um, on advanced waxing techniques or lash extensions. And so I started having friends and family and a small following come to my house. I would just do it on my bed or in my bedroom. And one job led to another, and I did a lot of freelance wedding makeup. I did a lot of lash extensions. I did permanent makeup back when it was like brand new. And I did a lot of more of the like makeup artistry, waxing, superficial side of aesthetics, which was super fun. But flash forward about 13 years into my career, I was working at it's called Benefit Cosmetics, and they have these brow bars all over the country, worldwide. And they had one in Macy's. And I had been working there for 6 years. So full circle, I knew some people at Macy's. I wasn't there anymore in cosmetics, but they told me a brow bar was opening and they knew I was an esthetician. I should apply. And so I was the second employee to ever work at their brand new brow bar. And I worked there for 6 years doing brows, and it was super fun. I always had loved brows. So I felt big time working in Macy's, hired as an esthetician, not a Macy's employee. I was hired as an esthetician through Benefit. And I thought I had like reached the ladder. It was just so fun. And I loved it for a while, for years. But around probably the fifth year, I was kind of like, all right, I'm just doing brows and facial waxing all day, every day. I feel like my potential has not been met. Um, I'm ready for another shift. When you just feel that tug to like shift. And it wasn't that I wasn't happy there. I just knew there was more for me. So right around that time in Washington State, they had just implemented a master aesthetics course for anyone wanting to work in dermatology or plastic surgery, more of a medical setting with lasers. And I had a client who'd been coming to me for years, ask me if I was licensed to do that because she was a receptionist at a dermatologist's office. And I told her no. I had actually wondered how estheticians work in those offices because it was kind of a new thing back then. This was like 2016. And she said she didn't know, but she heard that it was like a course now that you could take in Washington State. And so I looked into it right away. and the school that I had went to 13 years prior was offering it. They were the first one. And so I just knew right then and there that that was my like tug and pull and the shift I needed to make. So I quit my job. At that time, I was making like $20 an hour. And it was the most I'd ever made. And I thought that, I was not going to get another job that made that much. This was crazy. Why am I quitting? And I just decided to take the plunge. Something just told me do it. And so I quit my job and I borrowed some money from my family to go back to school full time. It was just for 4 months, which was the reason I felt like I could do it. And right out of school, I applied at a couple different medical aesthetic offices and I got a job right away. So I've been doing that ever since for 9 years. And I've been at two different medical spas working with lasers and advanced facial devices, doing advanced facial treatments and body treatments. And I love it. I love it. I've loved it. I'm still at the medical spa I've been at for 6 years, twice a month. They wanted me to stay on, like even super part-time, which was such a compliment. I never thought they would let me do that. But um, I had this tug, I had this pull again for a shift, which I thought was crazy. Like, why do I not feel happy? It wasn't that I wasn't happy. I just felt this pull again. And I know that it's always God just making you feel a little bit uncomfortable because there's something more for you. And I've learned to just trust in that and follow it, even when it's super scary. This opening the school was the biggest one ever, but I just felt this pull to like do more with it because I felt like after accomplishing that and working in the medical side, which was like the top of the industry for me, and where I was at. So the medical spa that I work at is one of the number one med spas in the country. It's called Sarah Hamilton Face, and she is amazing. All of my coworkers are amazing. The med spa is incredible. I make amazing money. I made amazing money working there, like a nurse would make. Like I was just a couple $1,000s short of 100 grand a year, working very part time. And so I'm only sharing that because I was like, this is crazy. Why am I thinking of not being here? No part of me was unhappy, but I was just feeling this pull to educate and give back with all that I had, all that it had taken me to accomplish all of that and learn it all. I felt like it took me 20 years to learn all of the things that really should be more available to you sooner. And I just kept playing with how can I educate? How can I be on the side of giving back and educating now that I feel I've mastered and accomplished all that I could see myself accomplishing in the industry physically. Also, of course, there's that burnout factor where my vision's not as great as it used to be. My wrists and my elbow would hurt from time to time. And I kind of just had that feeling one day, am I going to be sitting here working on people until I'm in my 50s and 60s? Or am I going to do something else that encompasses everything that I know and the same industry that I love? But I didn't know how I could do that. So I played with a lot of things and I just started Googling. Well, I Googled you, but I first was like, maybe I'll do an internet blog. Maybe I'll be a blogger, which I'm not that person. I'm not good on social media. I'm still learning how to be. I don't like being in the limelight. I just, I wanted to do something though that I could just kind of do virtually because I knew I couldn't travel. I have a family, we have a lot of children that we support, and I knew I couldn't travel. I thought of being like a skincare or laser sales rep, but they travel all the time. And then that's just like a whole nother world of goals and all the things I don't like doing. So I started thinking, well, what if I could just, well, sorry, I'm all over the place. I went on to GoDaddy. I created a little page to do a blog and I did nothing with it. I like tried to create my own website, which I knew nothing about. I tried to create a couple little blog ideas, but it takes so much time. I overthink those things. And I just knew I could not dedicate the time to that. I didn't want to. It didn't feel authentic. So then I thought, well, what if I could just have an aesthetic school where I just teach what I love and what I'm good at? But I didn't even know that you could. I thought you had to have a full cosmetology school because every school here and every school that I had ever heard of was a cosmetology school. They did everything. And so I started Googling, can you just do that? And they, internet was like, yeah, there's schools that do that. And so then I started Googling, who can I, learn how to do that from? How do I do that? And probably the second person that I looked into was you. And right away, you had YouTube videos, you had all kinds of information, more than the other person who was a woman. And first I was like, oh, she sounds like she knows what she's talking about. But it was very like secretive and there wasn't really much information out there. But you had all these videos, all these people you'd helped. And so I started watching you. And I knew my husband would think I was kind of crazy. So to be looking into it that seriously online by somebody that sells it online. And I watched you quietly for, how long do you think I did it before I told you?
6 to 8 months.
Yeah, probably like 6 months. And finally I was like, okay, babe, there's something I want to do. And I've been doing it, I've been watching him for a while now. I knew you probably wouldn't think he's real, but he is. He's helped so many people. And I've watched all the YouTube videos and they're all over the country. And I want you to watch some of them. And we can do a Zoom call. We can meet with him and he'll do a Zoom call with us. And he was like, I don't know. And so I'm like, just watch a couple of the videos. So I made him watch a couple of the school owners on YouTube. And he was like, okay, maybe we could do a Zoom. And so we set that up. I, went online to your website and set one up. And then like so many other people, I was super surprised to hear back from you and that we did the Zoom and it was you. And we were talking before the call. I was like, he's going to ask if we thought he was a scam. And I didn't because I watched you and I just had this feeling, but he did.
I did.
He was like, I still don't know. Then I was like, okay, this is what it costs to get into the program, but I know we are busy. I know we cannot do it ourselves. I know we need to do this. And he still was like, I don't know. That's a lot of money. I don't think so. I'm like, can we have another talk with him? Can we call him again? What's going to convince you? And so we had a couple Zooms with you, I think. And there's just something super authentic about you and you don't hide things. You just put it out there. And I literally could not have done this without you. It is a lot of work, but it is so doable with your help and your program. And I could not be more grateful. I have this on my shelf. So, oh gosh, can you see it?
Some glare on
Okay,
Oh,
that's me and Jen when we went to see you at your house. And then this is me and Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Paris.
Paris.
Who is a school owner in Seattle, who Chin hooked me up with because she knew all of Washington State's rules and regulations. And sorry, without the two of them, without the two of you, I could not have done this. And so I have you right here in my office at the school because I'm so grateful.
Now, when you and Artez came down here, talk about how did y'all feel about that? Because we got to meet in person, face to face.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. Well, my husband's from Arkansas, so we were already going to drive down there to see family, and we knew you weren't too far. What was it, a five and a half hour drive? And so it wasn't even a question. I was like, we're going down to Arkansas. We have to go meet Chin. And I knew from some of your videos and just photos that some people have come to meet you before. But for some reason, I didn't even feel awkward saying, hey, Chin, we're coming down. Can we come, to your house and meet you? And not only were you like Yeah, of course. You told us to come stay with you. You take us out, and you did. And so after that, and we'd already bought into the program. Sorry, I keep trying to adjust. My husband's trying to sneak away from the camera. That's what's happening.
No, at that point, we was all in.
We were all in.
Yeah,
but
we pretty much had, we knew you was for real. And
Yes.
we was already comfortable with you. And we can tell you was a genuine person. And we was actually excited to come down there. We wanted to bring a couple of our kids with us, actually. Yeah.
I wish I would have brought them. Y'all got to bring them next time.
I know you've got your pool and so much room. Your house is beautiful. But yeah, you're so genuine, and you just have such a good heart. You really just want to help others and help them succeed. And that's where I'm at in my life, that I want to do with my students. And so to have you do that just made my dream even bigger and richer. And we really appreciate you.
So, Artez, what were you thinking when Amber first came to you?
Well, I'm from Arkansas. I'm from the country. And for one, it's not a lot of, from when I was down there, I've been up here for like 20 years now. But I grew up in the projects. And coming from where I come from, you don't see a lot of successful Black people. And you definitely don't see a lot of Black people helping other Black folks, you know what I mean? So that was something that I wasn't used to. And so my guards are always up, because, you know, sometimes you can even have people as close to you as family members who will take advantage of you. So, hold on, what was the question again?
What
got
were you
lost.
thinking? What was your mindset? What were you thinking when she came to you?
Oh yeah. So she had been kind of talking about
Shift.
leaving where she was working at Sarah Hamilton. And I really didn't know how serious she was about it until she started sharing with me that she had been, you know, following you and talking to you. So that's kind of, you know, I don't know. I guess I wasn't seeing the big picture that she was dreaming about.
And when you watched the videos, she had you to start watching some videos, what were you thinking?
I thought it was cool just to see a community of Black people together. So you know, as we kept watching the videos, I start, you know, believing more and more of her vision.
What made you believe?
Just seeing all the people that you know, seeing the stories of the people that you've helped. And
Well, the school owners that were doing well too,
right.
that actually were having success through your program and your help.
Now tell us about y'all's journey of getting the school ready, as far as finding the building, doing all that good stuff.
We still in the midst of all.
Oh
It
my
seemed like
God.
it never stopped. We have the 2 spaces, but you know,
Well,
the work is never done.
How did we find this space?
Oh, you can tell me.
So we have pretty much completed all of the paperwork. And I was kind of like, there's got to be something more I can do with the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm ready to start looking for real estate. This is, you know, for real. At this point, we invested money. I spent all my free time creating all of the documents. And I was a gold member. So I did a lot, right? No, not gold, bronze.
Yeah, bronze.
I was bronze. So I did all of the paperwork myself with Chin's help and your team's help, but I still had to edit, and I'm super OCD, and I come from like a super, you know, medical side of the industry, and I wanted it to be very clinical. So I spent a lot of time. Even Chin was like, "You're overthinking it." I spent a lot of time, like 2 years, from buying into the program to completing everything. I spent 2 years because I was working full time still, but I slowly, just in my free time, was doing all of the paperwork, and it came to that point where I'd finished it all and I was pretty much ready. We also got help from our local community. My husband works with the homeless and drug addicted community, and they have a lot of local resources that they can reach out to for help and assistance with getting them on their feet. And one of those sources is called the Women and Business Center. and they will for free help you create a business plan, which I already had so much of it done through your paperwork. The man that we worked with was actually really impressed with everything that I'd already had, the business plan I had put together, but he helped us create financial projections and just kind of dial it in a little bit more solid, which was great. So for about 6 months, we worked with him.
And he wasn't a believer in the projections
No,
at all.
we actually just saw him at a restaurant a few months ago, like a month
About a
ago.
month ago, yeah.
And he could not believe how well we're doing because he didn't understand the industry. And he didn't think that we would do as well as we did. And so many people, even our families, are like,
Right.
wow. And our accountant this year was like, you actually made a profit. Most people don't make a profit in their first year. We're like, yeah, we own a school. Um, but that was really great. So we did a lot of work on top of all of the assistance from you. And so we started looking, just driving around and looking at commercial real estate. And there wasn't a lot of good options. So many of them needed to be like fully gutted or fully built out because they were just one open space. And I knew I wanted like treatment rooms and I wanted a classroom and I wanted rooms. And so
then there was some other spaces that we really wanted, but the area is kind of affected by the fentanyl crisis. It's big.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really bad here.
So we had not took a couple places that we were going to sign the lease to. We had to not just because of those reasons, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
It was every place that was almost right that just didn't work out would not have been right. So finally, my husband found this space, which we'll show you guys. It's a really beautiful historic building on the historic registry, built in the 1800s. And I've always really loved historic buildings. I just think they have so much charm and character. And so there's a med spa right across the street and a body sculpting center right next to that. And there's this really cute coffee shop that a lot of business professionals will go to and, work on their laptops throughout the day. And just a good kind of beauty community and business block. And I never would have thought that in the heart of downtown, we'd find a building that was right or affordable, but it was actually more affordable than almost any of the other places. So my husband working downtown here had told us that or told me that there were some signs in the window, we should check it out. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't think it would work, but it just was really perfect. It already had built out rooms. The price was wonderful. The landlord, we didn't really know how to wheel and deal, especially with commercial real estate and square footage pricing and all that. It's totally different from buying a home. So we learned a lot, but he was amazing. He lowered the price for us. He threw in janitorial services. He matched what construction was going to cost, 50%. So we paid 50%. He paid the other 50% with no required payback. What else did he do? Water, sewer, garbage, electricity is all included. We just got a really amazing deal. And so we knew it was right. So then we had to wheel and deal with the construction team about the construction pricing, which is crazy. Unfortunately, we're not handy with all those things ourselves, not for this type of space. And so we tried to kind of find local people, but it was just easier to have the construction team that worked with this building do it. And so they did a pretty good job. I'm really picky and I was pretty OCD about every detail because I knew how I wanted it. And they didn't really see the vision. They thought I was being just very extra. But when it was completed, the construction team actually came back in and told us how beautiful it is. They understood now my vision and that it turned out to be a beautiful space. So it was all worth it. I feel like we've both grown so much in the last 2 years, just taking on this venture, doing this for ourselves and for others. But working for yourself, I get it now. There's nothing more empowering and fulfilling than actually making it happen for yourself. And I have never, ever even worked for myself. As an esthetician for 20 years, I always worked for somebody. I never rented a space and tried to venture out on my own because I always was scared to fail. Like, what if I am not successful? What if I'm not busy? How can I, provide for my family? So I always stayed safe, but safe never felt comfortable. I always felt restless. And after so many years, I knew there was something else. And really, I know now looking back, God was trying to get me to my higher self and to just believe in myself and take this plunge. But I know I wouldn't have if I had not come across you and your program that made it feel possible. Truly.
Okay. So y'all finally got everything together. You submitted your paperwork to the board. Tell us about your inspection and approval.
Oh, so that was actually, okay, actually, I need to tell you something else. So before I even started this process and bought into the program, I knew this is what I wanted to do after watching you for a while. So I contacted the state board and asked them, okay, if I'm going to open a school, I've been an esthetician for this many years. What do I need to do to be able to do that? And the woman I spoke with told me nothing. All my years of experience in the industry would be, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it basically would be sufficient to open and teach at a school, because I specifically said, what do I need to do to open and teach at the school? And so she said, nothing. Your level of experience in the industry qualifies you to do that. All you need to do is, find a space. When you found a space, present a floor plan, and all your documents, all of your school catalog and all the things, your enrollment form, and we'll go from there. So I was like, awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and buy into the program and just get going. And so that's what I did for 2 years, which I could have been getting my instructor's license within that 2 years, but she told me I didn't need it. So, but I asked that question because I pretty much had the feeling that you have to be a licensed instructor to teach at a school. But I asked her specifically that, do I need to be an instructor? She said no. So I call you one day in a panic because I was in Seattle with my friends and I decided to go visit Paris Tran, who you had just kind of hooked me up with to help me finish, perfecting all of my state board paperwork for Washington State to get this school up and going. So I called her and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in Seattle. I would love to come visit you in your school. And I go in there and we're doing a walkthrough. She's showing me everything. I'm taking pictures of everything she's got labeled and how she's got everything set up because I know I'm going to have to do that. We had actually already found the space and we'd either just signed the lease or we just signed the lease. But hadn't started construction or anything yet, but we had just signed the lease. I took a girls trip weekend with some girlfriends to Seattle, meet with Paris, tell her how excited I am. And she was like, so you're a licensed instructor, right? And I was like, no, I've been in the industry for like 18 years and 19 years at the time. They told me my experience was sufficient. And she's like, really? I'm pretty sure that's not correct. And I'm like, what? And I was so stressed out. I had just finished completing all the documents, signing the lease on the building. I'm like stressed, trying to figure out when I'm going to tell my work that I'm leaving them. And I'm trying to have this relaxing girls' weekend before all of this, comes to a close. And she tells me they came and did a walkthrough and they wanted to see my instructor's license. So I'm pretty positive that you need an instructor's license. I'm like, don't tell me that. So I was grateful she did because I would not have been able to open the school and teach at it.
And this when the tears start rolling and the gray hairs start coming in.
No, for real. I was a hot mess. So I'm like, okay, thanks. I'm so glad you told me that. And inside I'm like flipping out. So I go out to the parking lot where my friends are waiting for me in the car and I'm like, holy, you know what? I need to call state board. I'm sorry. We're like on our way to a day spa for the day. This like, it's called the Olympus Day Spa. It's this amazing spa that you just are at all day long. You have lunch there. And I feel like I can't even go in. And I'm stressed out. And they're like, it's going to be fine. Either way, it's going to be fine. I'm like, how's it going to be fine? How am I going to? I can't hire an instructor. I don't have money to hire somebody. What am I going to do? So I call the state board and they're like, I don't know who told you that, but you are correct. Um, or she was correct. You have to be a licensed instructor. I'm like, oh my God. So I was in tears. I could hardly even enjoy myself. I was so stressed out. One thing led to another. I was able to do the instructor course because I had all the years of experience. Instead of doing 500 hours, they only made me do 200 hours, which I was able to do a hybrid course, which was 50% online, 50% in person. It was the hardest 2 months of my life, besides everything else I had already done. And we got it done pretty quickly. And so passed both of my exams first try because I was just, there was no not passing it. I had signed the lease. I had to get this done in 2 months. So in 2 months, I became a licensed instructor, which doesn't seem like it's long enough, but honestly, the information was, I already knew a lot of it just being in the industry for so long. So I then was able to get my instructor's license, sent all the paperwork to the state board, and just a few adjustments from the state board with paperwork that was necessary, which through you and through Paris, helping me with corrections, I was able to do very easily. I had everything I needed. They were even super impressed that I had all the documents in place because of your program, truly. And so then the walkthrough was so intimidating, but because I had everything put in place and I'd been to Paris's school and seen how you had helped her get set up, I was able to have everything ready the way they needed it. And I passed my inspection first go around. And what else did you ask? Oh,
Awesome.
I think it's just going. Are you there? Hello?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
we got a phone call.
oh, okay.
What else had you asked about that?
So about the inspection and getting open?
Yeah, so I did my walkthrough, and the only thing I did not have was my front desk. But Paris, I had called her in a panic. She had told me that it was okay if there's a piece of equipment you don't have, as long as you just let them know and you send them the receipt that you have it. They're fine with it because your floor plan is supposed to match, or your tour is supposed to match the floor plan you've submitted and everything you have on it. So I was worried about that, but that was no big deal. They passed me right away. I think that same day I received my school license, and I already had an entire class enrolled. Well, they were on a wait list. But I was able to call everybody, and I had a full class of 12 students to start, which was my classroom size. Really, my classroom could have fit 15, but I was super nervous to have a big class to start and to pack it full. I just wanted to feel comfortable and work my way in. And it was just me. I had no instructors. I had nobody. It was just me and my husband getting everything going. So I started 2 weeks later with a full class of 12. So
Now, when you all first told people, did you tell family members, friends, co-workers, hey, I'm gonna open a school? Tell us about that.
I don't think we told anyone until we had finished all the paperwork.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, even when even when it first got started, I think you told your mom and your dad about it. Sorry about that. So she did tell her parents about it, and a couple other people, and it wasn't many people who was believers of the vision.
Yeah. I think probably within like 6 months to a year of starting all the paperwork, I told maybe my very closest friends and my family that I was going to be doing it. And they definitely were like, okay, you're going to open a school, like an entire school. I'm like, but it's not that hard. It's like a salon, but it's a school and you have free employees. And, I'm like quoting all of your stuff. And I'm like, listen to this, watch this YouTube. You need to hear him. You'll see. And I'm pretty sure I sent the YouTube to my friends and family. No one watched it. I don't think anyone even watched it. Because it just sounds crazy. And even when I would present it to people, I was like, this is going to sound crazy. Don't think I'm crazy. I've done my research, but I'm opening a beauty school. And you could just see their faces like, okay, that sounds crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like anyone took it that serious. So then closer to the time that we were completing all the paperwork, I told one coworker who I had worked with the two med spas I've been at. We both went from one to the next. So she had been with me a long time. She's one of the nurse injectors. She's a nurse practitioner, and I just really trusted her and her opinion. And I just needed someone to help me brainstorm how to set the school up and my vision. And she was like the only one that actually believed in me and was super excited for me. And I was so nervous to tell her because I worked with her and I didn't want anyone finding out. I thought if my boss found out, she'd just fire me right away. And what if I like lost my job before I started the school and didn't have an income? And what if it took like a year for the school to take off? I mean, I had no idea. I'm just going on faith and I was so stressed and nervous. But throughout all the stress and still like there was times where I was like, I don't have to go through with this. We can totally like we only signed the lease a week ago. We can just pull out, right? We can just finish paying him off and not actually do it. This is, we did the paperwork, but nothing else is really in place yet. We could just pull out. I thought that so many times when things felt stressful or just overwhelming. But quickly, another thought, another feeling would take over and tell me, no, this is meant for you. You're supposed to be doing this. Quit. That little voice that's telling you that isn't real. And so no matter what, it still always felt right. And that's all I can say to people that want to do this is if you feel that tug and you feel that pull and it feels right, it is. It's because God's put that on you to do it. And it keeps feeling right if it is. And when something's wrong for you because it keeps feeling wrong. But it kept feeling right. It kept feeling like no matter how stressful it was, I had to keep going. And so we just kept going. And my husband too, he didn't doubt me just the first few times that I showed him your YouTubes. But then he was like, no, and I'd get stressed out. And he was like 100% in with it too. As soon as we, got really going with it, we both knew this was right. And after seriously meeting you and seeing what you did and what you were able to do and have done for others, it just was a go from then on. So, I forget.
How
I'm
did
on
you
track. What were you asking?
how did you get all this?
People believing in us. Yeah.
Yeah. So when y'all finally got it open, what did the town and family members and friends, what was their reaction now?
Yeah. So finally I had told everyone, I've finished all the paperwork. Now we have to look for real estate and we're building searching. This is happening. And I'm quitting my job soon. And then my friends and family knew it was for real. Then we found the building and we signed the lease. And then I told my work and I gave them a 3-month notice. So it was right when we signed the lease and we knew construction was going to take a while. And I wanted to give them 3 months to find somebody to replace me, for me to train them, because I care about my work. I care about my clients, my patients that I've had there for years. I didn't just want to leave them. I didn't want my work to feel like I was just leaving them. My goal was to partner with as many med spas and salons high-end salons in town to be able to give my students the opportunity to network, to go in for laser demos and be exposed to injectables, because the medical side of aesthetics, even though we can only do so much as estheticians, you need to know about the full scope practice. And so I knew from the beginning that's what I wanted. I wanted to expose them to the best of the best and give them everything that's taken me 21 years to learn before they graduate. That was the reason I wanted to do this, was to give them an advanced education that no school was doing. So I wanted to leave on good terms. But I was so nervous. I thought they were going to think I was crazy. I thought they were going to think that, you know, I wouldn't succeed and they'd be mad at me and I'd just ruin my connections and relationships. But they were amazing. I gave them 3 months. They had me stay even a little longer. They asked me if I could stay extra long. So I did. And then they offered for me to stay on a couple times a month if I wanted to, until my business really took off, which I don't need to work there anymore. But I love them, and I love that they've just, you know, trusted me and supported me, and keeping my foot in the industry is so important for my students, for me to give them like the most updated information and the best of the best, that I'm working there one Saturday and one Monday a month on my days off to really be able to do that for them. So it's been really great. But as soon as I opened, everybody was super supportive. The community, I honestly think it was my years of experience in this town and all of my connections. Also, just having worked for the med spa that I worked at, which has such a great name for itself, just made me more credible to the community. And so we were going to do a ribbon cutting. We were going to do an open house. We were going to like call the mayor and ask if they could come down, because I wanted to do that. And I've seen a lot of your school owners do that. But I've been so busy that I just did not get around to it. And I still think that that would be fun, but we honestly didn't need it. I did a little advertising on Instagram and Facebook mainly, but I didn't really do a whole lot else. I hired a web designer to design a website for us, who my older sister is a massage therapist, and she actually, right around the same time I told her I was opening the school, she told me that one of her friends owns a massage school and she was going to work there part-time as an instructor. And so it was funny that me and my older sister both were feeling the shift to educate, and the instructor of the massage school helped me a little bit too with some things around here, getting set up. And so I forget what that was. But I don't remember. I just had made a lot of connections and had done, the web designer was their web designer. And so she had worked with a school before. And so she set me up a really great website for the school. And I just posted the website on Instagram and Facebook, and she set me up a Google page. And honestly, just those things alone, I didn't have to do any advertising. I did reach out to most of the med spas and salons in town that I could think of, that I had some connections with as well, and told them that I'm going to be opening a high-end beauty school. I would love their support. I would love for them to come in and support the students. I would also love to network with them and have my students be able to come in and tour and job shadow when it comes to that point. And they were all so supportive. Everyone shared it, mostly just through Instagram. People would just share it. My boss at the med spa I work at shared it. She did a live with me even, or a video talking about how I was going to be leaving to be doing this. And that was amazing. So just my community support alone was enough. And I was so shocked. I did not think it would be that easy to get a full class and to get all of the interest through just my community supporting me. So it was so humbling. I still cry about it.
What was it like the night before you were to teach these students? What was that like?
Oh my gosh, I was a nervous wreck. I don't even remember. I was so nervous. I then, of course you're questioning, do I even know how to teach? How am I supposed to teach? And, I use Milady curriculum, And so they have like an instructor's portal, and I had to do all these Zoom meetings to learn how to use it. And I still felt like I didn't really know, because, you know, if you don't start using something, you can only learn about it so much before you have to use it to know it. And so I told them, I was like, hey, I have experience in the industry, but teaching, I'm just here to give you everything I know. I'm like going to follow this curriculum, but I don't really know fully what I'm doing. So please work with me and be gracious and patient with me. And I could literally not have asked for a better class. My group, they are incredible. They are amazing. They are so great. I was, of course, worried that I was going to have students drop out or, you know, pull out early. And they're all so happy. They all just have supported me. Anytime I've just been like a nervous wreck about things, they just bring me flowers and tell me how grateful they are for me. And so they're great. I've had a great class. But pretty quickly, after I signed up my first 12, I started getting a wait list. And I knew there was a need for this in the community. There's, well, I should also tell you something else that was, I feel like, divine. I had been researching before I opened the schools around, because I knew of the main beauty school I'd gone to. I knew of two more that were in Spokane. And how many people are here? 450,000?
Like 500,000.
It's a big city. It's 500,000 people. And there's like, I knew of about 3 beauty schools, but I was like, I wonder if there's more I haven't heard about. You know, I just know of the ones I know. And so I had found out that there was one aesthetic school, just aesthetics. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? How could this be? I'm supposed to be the first one to just open an aesthetic school. This is crazy. Who is this? And so I Google her, and it had been open for 7 years. She was not accredited. I even asked you about it. I'm like, look her up. Why do you think she's not accredited? This is crazy. And it was a very simple school. I didn't really feel still that it would be a lot of competition, but of course it made me nervous. And then the biggest school that had been around the longest since the 1960s in Spokane that I had been to, the one I went to 2 times, was literally 2 blocks down from where we found the building. And I was like, this is insane. I can't even believe I'm going to open a school 2 blocks from this huge accredited school where everyone can get financial aid. It's a full cosmetology school. I must be out of my freaking mind. But still something was like, just do it, just do it. So we had found this space, but I was still feeling uneasy. I wasn't sure. And I see on Facebook that that school is closing.
Wow.
And I was like, this can't even be real. So I'm doing all the stalking and research and messaging people. I'm like, is this real? They were closing, and they had been open since the 60s and were blocks from me. They were going to be my biggest competition. So they were closing like within months of me opening. And the aesthetic school that was just aesthetics, because my like whole tagline was going to be, you know, Spokane's aesthetics only school. And I was like, I can't say that now. I can't say I'm the only aesthetic school. It sucks. And then I found out within 2 months of the other school closing, she was closing. So I was like, oh my God, this is like divine intervention. I mean, if there's not another sign that I'm supposed to be doing this, that is it. And so seriously, 2 schools closed. But then, of course, I'm like, why are they closing? Is this a bad time? Is this a bad industry to be in? Oh my God. So then, no, this is crazy. So then I'm at the gym one day, and I run into this girl, and we'd signed the lease. We had started construction. Everything was underway here. And I see this girl who went to beauty school with me, and I hadn't seen her in years. And I'm like, hey, oh my gosh, how's it going? And she was like, oh, great. You're doing well. I see, you know, you working at the med spa. You need to come in and get some treatments. And I still hadn't told a lot of people about this, because just like my friends and family, I didn't want anyone knowing. Oh, I hadn't given my notice to my boss yet. That's why. So she's like, I teach part-time now actually at one of the beauty schools in the Valley, which is the other one that was the biggest competition. And she's like, I'm actually about to interview for this brand new beauty school, just an aesthetic school that's opening in downtown Spokane. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. In my head, I'm thinking, is she talking about my school? Has she heard about my school? But then I'm like, I'm not hiring. Who is she interviewing for? So I'm like, wow, there's a new school opening. What's that school? What's this school about? And trying to get some information. And so she tells me the name of the school, definitely not my school, tells me she's got an interview there like the next week. And for some reason, something was like, talk to her. So I was like, this is crazy. We're in the weight room. And I'm like, can you come talk to me for a minute? So I pull her out into like a private area. And I'm like, this literally is the craziest run-in because I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but I'm about to open a school in downtown Spokane, just aesthetics. And I can't believe you just told me there's another one opening. So I need you to give me the details. Like, what the hell? And so she tells me it's this school that's from another place in Washington. It's the Tri-Cities, we call it. And they have a huge aesthetic school that's already accredited. They've been there for years. They're opening a second location right downtown, close to where I'm opening. And I'm like, oh my God. So I go home crying. I'm like so stressed out. I'm like, one school closed, another one's now opening. Now I can't be the only aesthetic school again. What is happening? And my husband's like, calm down. Why would you even be worried about them? You can't be worried about other people. And I'm just like all emotional about it. So
Shannon, I told her, don't worry about it. I'm going to load the kids in the truck. We're going to go vandalize the place.
he did. He's like, I know people. I'm like, yeah, do it. So we watch this building. We find out where they're going to be. She tells me where they're going to be located. We go find it. There's a sign in the window. They're supposed to be opening in the fall, like a month before me. So I'm like, what can I do? I just have to be better than them. I am better than them. Like, just trying to get myself into gear. I've got connections. They're not from Spokane. I'm from here. I've worked here. I know all the people, whatever, no competition, but I'm still stressing out about it. So I open and they still haven't opened. And a couple months goes by, they still haven't opened. And every so often I'm like, when's the school going to be competition? When is the school going to open? They never opened. They never came here. I don't know why. They even had a Instagram page for Spokane for their new location. They never moved here. So another sign of just don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't stress about the competition. If you have a goal, if you have a vision, you need to do it for you and it's going to work out. And so all those things had me doubting and stressing and crying. I mean, I could not have been more stressed out. And it worked out. And so, yeah, it was crazy. All of the things that happened. Yeah.
Now, you're a lot different than when I first met you. It's almost like you went from Linda Carter to Wonder Woman. Your confidence, speaking, I mean, everything. It's like you're a different person.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, seriously, we grew so much. We grew so much as a couple, individually. I really feel like just taking charge of your dream and your life and going for your vision and growing. You can only grow so much in your career, but you can grow so much personally, and taking on something scary that you're scared to do and then just putting that aside and just diving into it and growing from it and learning. It was like a whole new growing experience. I feel like I'm a grown up now. I was just working, and now I have an actual business and career that I can, be proud of and pass down. And even our children are proud. They're like, our children are impressed. And one of our daughters one day was like, I'm really proud of you. You've been working so hard. which just felt so good because there's been so many times I felt guilty because I'm literally on my laptop at home all day long. We work 7 days a week now. I work way more than I ever worked before, but it doesn't feel as stressful because we're doing it for ourselves. We're doing what we want to do. We're building a better future for ourselves and our kids. And it really does feel so empowering. We're super happy. I mean, we're 6 months in, but we have accomplished and overcome so much in just the last 9 months since we like got the construction going and whatnot. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot of work. I have seen a lot of your Zooms and a lot of your school owners come on and talk about, and no one says it's not a lot of work, but a lot of them do it pretty simply. And I had a vision of making my school stand out from the rest, and it was a lot of work. But I don't regret any of it. We have definitely grown closer as a couple too, doing this together because, you know, we each just had our own careers and our own jobs. And now my husband still has his own job, but I keep telling him he needs to quit and come just work with me. He's always in the background. He's always doing what's needed too. So he's working 2 jobs.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
it's been great.
how has it been watching this transformation, Artez?
I don't think it really stood out until you just said that. Now that you said that, the notice of how much change you've seen in Amber since we was down there in Tennessee visiting you, there has been a lot. I don't know. I guess it's just once you have your, once you're putting everything on the line, you just got to boss up. And I feel like that's what we not. That's what we've had to do is just boss up and believe in ourselves, and it's all worked out.
Yeah.
I told her she needs to get another space and hire somebody else.
Well, so to piggyback on that, so I had such a long wait list after I had signed up my first class. I mean, the inquiries kept coming. And I just have a website with a, apply now or get more information button. And the way my web designer set it up and for us to be on Google and I linked it to my Instagram profile was seriously all the advertising we did. The inquiries just kept coming in and I was so surprised. And at first I was like, it must be because Glendale closed, the big one that closed. It must be because the other one closed,
But it 100% wasn't, because for everyone who's going to come to this school, they have to pay out of pocket, and all those schools was accredited.
Yeah. And so, not being able to offer financial aid was also super scary. And I was super affordable. I listened to you. I listened to everybody starting out about, just keeping it super affordable. I hear you all the time in my head. It's not time for that. It's not time to do that. Keep it simple, which we put quite a bit of savings into the construction, but everything I purchased was Amazon, Wayfair, Marketplace, Ross, Home Goods, all the places that I could be as affordable as possible, but still have it look super high end was my goal. And so I did that with my tuition too, though. I was like, okay, I don't know if people are going to come here. I don't offer financial aid. And so I started out my aesthetics course at
12 something.
not okay. My
it was 9.
My aesthetics course was 9,000, and my combined master aesthetics course was 13,000, which I was even nervous to do that much. I was thinking more like 10,000. But all the other schools are 18 to 20,000 for the combined masters, and just the aesthetics course, most schools are like 15, 12 to 15. So I was like, okay, it's fine. My first class, I'm just going to give it a whirl. And it was really amazing. I didn't have any sign up for just aesthetics. They all signed up for the combined master's course because everyone here wants to be in the medical side of aesthetics. And so that was 13,500, I think 13,500. And I was really surprised at how many people were wanting and okay paying out of pocket. I allow them to pay monthly. So they divide their tuition by the 10 months they're in school. It's a 10-month course. It's or 1,200 hours. And that's still a lot, you know? I mean, I was so worried, like, how are they going to be able to afford it? But then I realized I can't worry about how people can pay for things. If they want it, they're going to find a way. And I even like went to some local banks and different places, seeing if they'll partner with me on low interest or zero interest for so long. No one would. They're like, no, we don't do that. Um, so I just made it affordable, but also wanted my value to be there, and no one had a problem. And then other students from other schools around started calling and saying that they were having, you know, a bad experience, were feeling like they weren't getting a good education. They wanted to transfer out of their school and come to mine. So two of my current students in my class are transfer students from another school. One had been there 6 weeks, another had been at another school for 3.5 months. And I was able to accept them in and allow them to bring their current hours to me through the state, and kind of prorate their charge. Um, but everyone everyone was great with what I was charging and my rules. And so then I had this long wait list and let it sit there for a while. And I kind of was starting to think, okay, everyone signed up for the 10-month course. I thought more people would sign up for the shorter course, which was 6 months. There's also a master's course. If you're already a licensed esthetician, you can come back and just do the master's, which is only 4 months. And I offer the instructor course, which is 500 hours. And so I thought there'd be a combination of people doing all of them. And then, like you had said, when, you know, someone graduates, I can move somebody else in and get them caught up. However, but everyone signed up for the 10-month course. And that's what everyone on the new wait list was wanting too. So I started thinking, I didn't think about this. I didn't plan for this. I can only now get one class in, almost one a year with 10 months. How am I going to get a new class started? And I was worried about the wait list, and, you know, I shouldn't have been worried about the wait list. People want to come, they'll wait. But I really just wanted to help everyone. I wanted to take everyone. And so we jokingly talked to the landlord about how we were doing so well. We had this long wait list already. And he was like, you know, we have other spaces available in the building. And we were like, haha, you know, wouldn't that be cool? But then, excuse me, we started looking at the potential revenue, at least to have two classes a year happen, and what that would look like in another space. And if we had, you know, all of that financially, where would we be at? Would it still be lucrative? And because we'd done that first financial planning, we were able to really dial that in quickly, and we decided it would be. So just a month ago, 5 months in, we decided to expand and take another leap of faith and rent out another suite and accept a whole nother class. This time that classroom's a little bigger than this main one. So we took a class of 15. So I now have 27 students, and I hired another instructor who was my instructor back in the day. And it's a little more stressful now. It was really manageable. Now it's just managing two classes, an employee, and a lot of different personalities, but I'm still learning. We're doing really well, and this is it. I'm not growing any more than this for a while. But after doing what we did the first time, expanding and growing a little bit did not feel as scary. It didn't feel as overwhelming, and we knew we could. And so hearing you talk about opening multiple locations and, you know, really growing, I can see now that it's possible and it's not that hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Artez, what anything else would you being a husband watching your wife do this, because it's gonna be other men, husbands or support systems, what would you tell them?
Sorry,
Hold on a second, Jen.
my phone's dying. Ah, that can work. Oh.
Don't allow.
What? What did I allow?
Hmm.
You won't let me allow anything.
Oh,
What was that again, Jen?
would you be in a support system, a husband? It's gonna be a lot of people to watch this, and it's a lot of husbands, boyfriends, support systems that have a loved one that wants to open a school. What would you tell them? Because you kind of, watched her and helped along and all that. So, from your perspective, what would you tell them?
Well, for me, it was one of those things. Me and my wife always been supportive of each other, and I've just always believed in her. So whatever she wants to do, I want it for her, and I just got her back. Just have that person's back, and there's no telling how far you can go. Because if you take that leap of faith and it don't work out, you can always go back to where you started at. But if you don't, you can never get to where where your dreams might be, where you think you can go. So dream big and just support each other.
So, how do you feel watching her accomplish all this? How does that make you feel, Artez?
You're getting deep, Chin. You're gonna get me in my feelings. I'm just happy to see her doing what she loves to do. She's such a natural at it. And like she was saying, she has there's a lot of transfer people that try to come to her school, and they want her. It's not really, the degree that they want, or not the degree, but the certification that they want is more of her that they want. And she's just her, and people want what she has to offer. So it's just a beautiful thing to see her just, doing what she loves to do and not be stressed. Well, I wouldn't say, I guess she is stressed. We both stressed, but just watching her do her thing is just, a beautiful sight to see.
Having his support has been everything. I honestly don't know if I could have done it alone.
She couldn't. Don't let her lie to you.
It was a lot. It was a lot of work. But I also worked full time. We have, a big family and children that we're responsible for. And it took both of us to make, especially the expansion, so quickly. So many times I was like, you told me to do this. Why are we doing this? This is crazy. Just because, also having to hire an employee and learn about employee paperwork and employee pay and the taxes you pay on your employees' pay and all these things that are brand new. I mean, I knew nothing about any of this. Neither of us did. And so it's been really great to have each other's support and
to have your support too.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about write-offs and all that type of stuff. I know we were on here one time. That's been a while ago, probably 8-9 months ago.
It was
who do you have on?
Gosh, what's his name? Millionaire somebody?
I can't remember.
You had someone on here who was talking about all that, and we were interested in it and learning more about it. But other things came up, so we kind of forgot all about all that. But then a time came to where we had to get an accountant, bookkeeper, and just learning all those things about taxes and everything. It's just
and everything. Yeah, all the specialists that you bring on to help us.
We've taken a little bit from everybody.
Yeah, when we start hearing about it from our accountant and our bookkeeper and learning about business, all of what they said comes flooding back. I'm like, remember we heard about that on Chin Show.
Yeah.
And we took notes, and I feel like that also prepared us for this, not just your program, but all the speakers you bring on, everybody that you expose us to. Once we were exposed to that, having to do that, owning the business now, I was like, oh yeah, we know about that. We know about changing to an S Corp status. And I had never even heard that term before somebody on your show. So it's been amazing having all of the just exposure to professional, or what am I trying to say? Yeah, to
Mhm.
professionals within all sides of the industry that can help you. And I've contacted and I've bought some of their books and I've talked to some of them privately. And yeah, your support, this network has been incredible. And throughout creating all of the documents and finding the school, when doubting the situation, I would just get on and watch a Zoom, or I'd log on to YouTube and watch a YouTube while driving. And I just listen to it. And I'm like, hey, it's going to be fine.
Was it Rich Hamilton?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't Rich Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
But you kept me going when I was stressed out, listening to other professionals, other school owners that had been successful, and listening to their stories was like, okay, I can keep doing this. I hear them, they've done it, I can do it too. And so getting on those Zooms, the support really is more beneficial than anything. And we've been wanting to get on every Wednesday. We always talk about it. We're like, damn it, we missed Chin's show again. We've just been so busy. I mean, we're here till 7 at night half the time, and then
Another 2 hours of work at the house.
another 2 hours at work, getting the state board hours in for the students. And, we're still learning. We're still in our first year, but
We,
we miss
y'all already arrived now, so y'all don't need the show no more.
No, but we just love the community support.
Yeah. Can you show us the school? Can y'all give us a tour?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I don't want you filming me walking.
Mm.
No, you can't do it like that. You have to do it long ways.
Okay.
No, we have to switch it. Sorry. How do we switch it? No, how do we flip our view?
You on the phone?
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. No, you can hold it, honey. No, hold it the other way. This is what you need me to do it.
There we go.
Okay. This is the office. This is one of our treatment rooms, which, oh gosh, we do a lot of waxing, chemical peels, lash and brow laminating, and extensions, kind of one of our interactive rooms. So we've got a couple beds, a couple wax pots. This is the main space, our front desk.
Looks good in there.
Thank you. This is our retail wall. So I really am teaching my students to sell retail and be successful with home care, because that's how you really create a loyal clientele as well. So we've got a retail wall, a reception, which the students take turns checking people in and out. This is our waiting room.
Hmm.
So our clients come in here and fill out paperwork. This is our facial room, where we do more of our spa facials. We do a lot of microneedling, radio frequency for skin tightening. So we've got 3 beds and curtains that we pull for it to be more private. And then we can make it really spa-like and, cozy. This is our break room / dispense. So we have our dispense area, and we keep all of our, products in here. And then we have lockers, we have our time clock system, little break room table. And then this is our classroom. This building's really cool. It's from the 1800s. I don't know what this room was originally, but it's like a glass ceiling, and there's a skylight that's at the top of the building. So during the morning, it's really pretty. So we just have 4 tables for 12 students down here. And then, do you want to see our second floor suite?
Yes, if you're gonna show it to us.
Okay, so our newest suite, the bathrooms are out there. So this is our main floor. And then we have a brow bar, because I worked at a benefit brow bar for years, in my purse.
It's really nice.
Thank you. Okay, so then it's really cool. The only reason we decided to get a second suite is because it's right upstairs from where we are. Yeah. So we just go right out here and then upstairs is right there.
Hmm.
And this suite's just been open a month.
Okay.
Our second class started in it already.
All right. Once they,
You have to have a key fob to get up past 5 o'clock in this building, which is nice. So just right up here. And then this is our classroom downstairs.
Mhm.
So right up here. Yeah. Oh, no, it's just the top one. Here. It's number. Wait, it's the wrong one. Okay. Great. So this is our second floor suite.
That thing is like your school like a doctor's office.
I told you I wanted it to be competitive with the medical side. So we have our little break room in here and dispense. And then we have our waiting room. This is one of the treatment rooms. So this one, we have 3 rooms, which is nice, but we have 5 beds upstairs and down. So now we have 10 beds.
Mm.
And then we have another little brow bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun focal point when clients are waiting and people are getting their brows done. So this is another room, just a solo bedroom. And then another office.
Wow.
And then this is our classroom.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Big. You got a lot
Yeah.
of space. You got a big school.
Each floor is 1,700 square feet.
Oh yeah. You got a big school.
So yeah, we have 27 students and I'm trying to flip this back around. 2 suites now, and that's about all I want. As big as I'd like it.
Well, God gonna keep giving you more.
Yeah. He needs to slow down.
Wow. I don't know if that got questions. Seems like
Just on me.
I don't know about questions over there. Then when y'all go out in public, since y'all are school owners now, what do people say?
When we what? What was that?
When y'all go out in public and go places and stuff.
Well, Amber's always been known around here. Everybody's always known who she was.
I've just been an esthetician for 20 years here, so I know a lot of women, but people are proud of us. A lot of people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you own Bella Rosa." It's called Bella Rosa Skin Academy, and my younger sister, the other day said that she was in this group chat with some girlfriends, and they were talking about coming to this cool new place to get facials, and that she should come with them. And then in the group chat, they told her which place it was, and she was like, "No way, that's my sister's school." So that was cool. I was like, felt proud.
And this right here, Chin, is her working on her sister. These are the pictures these are the pictures that she got done before she
I had a little branding shoot
before we opened up.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, they came out good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop it. Okay.
So, all right. I know we done kept y'all a long time.
Yeah. a lot of information. I also just got braces 2 weeks ago, so I feel like a teenager again and feel like I'm slurring my words.
Um, anything else that you all want to share? Because I'm just glad that I'm just so, when y'all open schools, it makes me feel good. I get like a rush.
Yeah,
You should.
I know. We couldn't have done it without
That's
you.
right.
And the whole time we've just said, you're just so genuine, and the way you talk about it is so real. And throughout this whole process, all of the months of listening to you and um, how lucrative it can be, and how you have free employees, and how smart it is to open a school versus a salon. It's so true. And all the time, your words come rushing back into my head, and just how you really want to give back. And that I think most of us that want to own schools don't just do it because we want to get out of working on people. We do it because we want to give back too. We feel like our cup's been full from what we've done. I feel that way. And now I just want to share it with others and help them be successful. And so I understand your feeling of being proud. And we're so grateful for you, because I now feel proud to be able to share it with my students. I've had one graduate, because she was just here for the master's course, which was 4 months. And she graduated and passed her state board. So that was super cool. So yeah, it's a very fulfilling career.
But you are a master and an expert at what you do. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah,
Um,
I do.
yes. So your students are blessed to have you, somebody like you, because nobody else is probably gonna teach them like you.
No.
No, that's what they all say.
Yeah, yeah. You probably have to go up on the prices soon.
Yeah, I did actually. So the second class that started, I meant to share that. I decided, still probably not enough, but I decided to raise my tuition by $2,000 for each course. And no one had a problem. So then we were like, maybe we should have raised it more than $2,000. But I still feel like I just don't need or want to raise them that much yet. I'm happy with what I'm charging. I feel like I'm giving people a chance that might not have that chance, even though I train my students to not care about selling skincare or services, not to worry about the price that might be holding them back from sharing what the client should purchase. I do that sometimes. I'm like, oh, I don't know if they'll pay it if I raise it too much. But honestly, I feel like we're doing good with where we're at. My prices will keep going up, but I'm happy that I can offer a more affordable tuition for students and give them a chance when they probably couldn't if they couldn't get financial aid at 20,000. So we're definitely planning on getting accredited. And we did have a school software system that we were going to go with. Who was it?
Was it Smart, Genesis, Fame, Discovery Pro?
No, it was Fame, or there was another one. We were almost like signed up, and then we decided we were just gonna try it by ourselves at first with our monthly reports and all of the paperwork. And we're doing good, but I feel like now having 2 classes, we probably will.
Yeah, that'll make things easier. Somebody asked, where is she located?
We are downtown in Spokane, Washington. Do you want the address?
Let's see. I was trying to see any other questions. If y'all got any questions, y'all need to ask them right now.
Thank you.
A long time. We don't want to keep them from the children.
I just want to let people know that, coming from someone who's always worked for somebody else, that always stayed safe. I don't even like go on roller coasters. I don't have a thrill-seeking personality. This was so doable. I would never go back. I am so glad that we did this. If you have something that you're good at and you're passionate about it, you should be sharing it with others at a certain point. And that's what you have done with us and have allowed us to do with others now. So I truly think it's the best decision. If anyone's thinking of doing it, you should do it and you'll be successful.
All right. Anything else you want to share, Artez? And Artez, you still have them dogs. Can you tell them about that real quick?
Yeah, I still have the dogs, Jen.
Can you tell them a history about how you are a dog expert?
Oh, the one thing that I can share is
Oh Lord.
just follow the blueprint that Chin gives, because you pretty much you laid it all out, Chin, and all we had to do was just follow the blueprint, and it all came together.
It
Yeah.
really was that easy. Even my setting up my business Instagram, I followed your Instagram back office,
Right.
Yeah. videos, and I had no idea how to do that, and that helped.
Now Artez, on you breeding, you know how you breed those puppies, those dogs?
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
My wife been making me get rid of my dogs, Chin.
We've been too busy for dogs.
I'm down to one now.
One?
Yeah, I'm down to one. Most of my dogs I sent down to Arkansas to some family members.
And can you tell them what kind of dogs they were? Because we got some people that love dogs.
Oh, do you? They're American Pit Bull Terriers.
American Pit Bull Terriers.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like
It's
100 years back.
Yeah, it's certain bloodlines, and they all papered, and famous dog guys from the 70s, 80s, 90s that I follow, and I kind of collect the bloodlines and do breedings with the dogs.
And how much do you sell them for?
They go for like 2,500 a pup.
Them things are expensive. Now, what's the significance of those that breed versus others?
Well, that's what I grew up with as a kid down in Arkansas. My dad always had pit bulls. We never had any other kind of dog, so that's something that kind of stuck with me. And then the loyalty and the toughness of the dogs, it kind of I can relate to it because I used to box back in the day and used to ride horses, bull ride, fish hunt. So they just an all around just durable companion.
And they're so sweet and loving.
And you down to one.
Kids love art.
What was that?
Yeah.
You down to one.
Broken our heart every time he sends one down to Arkansas. Like, you're not getting any more dogs. We're done with loving them and then them leaving us. But
they want the dogs to lay on the couch and do nothing.
they're so sweet.
It's not gonna work with me.
All right. Anything y'all want to leave them with?
Leave them with?
Yes.
Just that Chin's the real deal. And if you're thinking of opening a school, you should, because he makes it easy. It's not easy, but he makes it doable and smooth. And it's the best thing we've ever done. I'm making more money now than I was making already in 6 months. We've made more money. In 6 months, we've made about what I made in a year.
Wow. Now,
come and gone, but it's great.
More.
Yeah.
Now we always leave with the theme songs.
Lord.
What's y'all's theme song?
I was thinking about this already.